So Drum Journey folks, rock band folks, everybody from rock band knows Logan Bedard because he was the drummer for so many great rock band experiences. So he was Scarlet Revolver. He was a part-time 5-star. He's a part-time, Fortunate Ones.
For a brief minute, yep.
Yeah, yep. So you were sitting for the Normals.
Yeah,
you're the punk ass drummer for the Normals.
Yep, and just about every summer camp since
summer camps were invented.
Yeah,
back when God was a child. So how are you doing these days?
Pretty good. I mean, getting back into the swing of stuff.
That's got to be good for your mental health.
Oh, absolutely. It was driving me nuts only being able to do like a live stream show here and there. It's totally different. But back at it, and back to barely keeping the schedule in order, and I'm happy if I'm.
Have you discovered Google Calendars?
I have in fact discovered Google Calendars. Yes.
Okay, good.
I live and die by that calendar, and if stuff doesn't end up on it, it gets forgotten about, and that's how we get the phone call 10 minutes before showtime. Hey, where the hell are you? Oh, what? Where?
That never happened to me. That never happened to me.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. With COVID's restrictions are starting to lift, and people are booking again, and bands are ready to get back out there, and
and people are ready to see it.
Yeah, people are really ready to see music. Every show that I've played since they've really changed the mask mandates and everybody's getting vaccinated and whatnot. Every show I've had, people are just ecstatic to be there. It doesn't matter what we're playing. I've always been with every band under the sun. From rock to jazz to funk to whatever, and people love it no matter what. It's always been.
It seems like more so now because you take something away from them.
Yep.
That is wellness. You go to see live music. A good live music, a good band is kind of like church.
Right.
In the best sort of way. It doesn't throw out guilt or anything like that. Not that kind of church. But it makes you feel good. It lifts you up.
Right.
And
I think
it's a social thing too. It's that whole social element where you feel connected with people.
Absolutely. I think it was
celebration.
A big case of you didn't know the good thing until it was gone.
Yeah.
And
people
are like, oh wow, we came pretty close to losing that. And I mean the industry is definitely struggling, and I think it will for a while, but It'll get back up.
It'll build back up.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think it's going to come back better than ever. And it already is. It's well on its way.
Yep.
So
where'd you get your start? Like take it back. Like way back.
What initially got me into deciding to play the drums was my parents took me to see the Blue Man Group, and my dad took me to see the Blue Man Group when I was 5, 6, something like that. And we came home, and that night I was like, I want a drum set. I want to be a drummer. I want a drum. And so they gave in and got a drum set for me for Christmas, which wasn't far.
Who was drumming for him at the time?
Oh, man.
That Blods?
No, I want to say the drum kit player was a guy named Todd Wakeman. And then there were various other percussionists and whatever else. But the guy that was on the regular drum kit was named Todd Wakeman, and he was actually phenomenal.
Okay.
I don't know who's with them now, and it's been a different band. I've seen them 3 times, I want to say, and it's been a completely different backing band every time.
Each time.
What's that?
Each time it's been a completely different backing band.
Yep. Yeah, they change it up a lot. And actually, from what I've heard, the Blue Men are different every time too, pretty much. They can't keep the same people straight either. But
wow.
Yeah, is
there any unifying thing, or is it?
Not really. Sure. I mean, like it's kind of a scenario. They're not so much like they, just do like that's how they work, like where they like to sub in different players. It's just nobody wants to stick with it, I guess, and they just keep having to replace people. But they still put on a kick-ass show, and but yeah, that
was kind of like acid for your 5-year-old mind.
It definitely was. It definitely was.
Like it seemed like and I know you don't know this because you're young, but like seeing color TV for the first time when everything was in black and white.
Yeah, it definitely changed the way I saw the world when I came out of the Giants for that first time. I was, it was something different, and from then on, I just kind of knew what I wanted to do, and my parents got me a kit and started poking around on it for a couple of years and learning some stuff. And I got a real kit and learned my first tunes and
okay, so you got your little kit, your 5-year-old kit.
Mm-hmm.
And how long did you play 5-year-old drums before you started studying with Jeremy?
I'm trying to think. I think I started studying with Jeremy not long after I picked up with Shea at the Galifty's open mics at 8.
So you played with Shea before you ever had a lesson?
Yep, I believe so. I had a couple of we were trying to find somebody because like I was starting to get a little serious with it by the time I was about 6 or 7, because I had the little toy drum kit for a year or so. Kind of fell apart and stuff. My parents were like, all right, you seem like you really do want to do this. So I started actually learning some songs, just learning stuff by ear, and they were like, oh well, wow, you kind of can figure this out, I guess. So how about we just get some lessons and start learning some actual technical stuff. But it was really hard to find somebody that wanted to teach somebody that young. There were a lot of nobody really took it that seriously. There was nobody that's how serious can this 7-year-old 8-year-old kid really be?
I only teach serious people.
Right. So that, like, there was a period, I was with one of my dad's students for a while. He just kind of let me play around in the band room and showed me some rudiments and some stuff on the drum kit here and there. And then we found Jeremy, and he was like, yeah, I'll teach him whatever. And so he started me, we started out with handwork, but also drum kit, because a lot of the guys that we talked to, they were like, yeah, he's not going to touch a drum kit until he's like 15. So the first like 5-6 years would be just pad work. I'm like, no, that's how you beat the love of drumming out of
yeah. And so the first thing that Jeremy did right is he took your enthusiasm, your natural enthusiasm for the instrument, and didn't try to strip you of that.
Yeah, yep. He did a good job of channeling it into something. So I was a big fan of Creed and Alter Bridge and a lot of stuff like that. And so he would, I would go into these lessons and be like, oh, I want to learn an Alter Bridge song. He's like, all right, so here's this Alter Bridge song. So now you hear that one part that Scott Phillips just played, that is inspired by Will Calhoun, who is a big influence of Scott Phillips. And he just, all these different little branches off of all kinds of stuff that I wanted to learn, as well as things that, he saw would really take me to another level that would be good for me to, kind of learn.
Yeah.
Really just Jeremy's a fantastic, still is to this day. He really worked wonders on, he kept my passion for music alive. But he also gave me things that were really challenging that just made me go, oh my gosh, like I can never do this. And sure enough, after the end of that hour lesson, it made sense. And I'd come back the next week having worked on it, and sure enough, you could do it. Like, Jeremy is a phenomenal teacher.
Yes.
Always has been. And I owe a lot of it to him, because he's just fun. And that was always a struggle at first, was just finding somebody that would be able to keep that passion alive. Somebody that didn't have a very rudimentary by the book approach to teaching.
Yeah.
His was more, what do you want to do? Okay, here's what I'll do with that.
I think that these people are like careers in marching bands. Is that what they're thinking? They're thinking that the brass goblet is the marching band.
Yeah.
That's the best thing ever.
Yeah.
And
that just, I mean, like, hats off to those guys. Like, I have respect for that. It takes a lot of skill to do.
I kind of don't. Like, you stripping.
I mean,
don't strip enthusiasm.
Yeah, it's a little much.
The other thing is, I don't know who is serious at 12 years of age.
Right.
You're serious about having fun.
Yeah, that's about it. Yeah.
So you learn the motor skills, learn it, organically is what I guess what Jeremy, the big thing that was different between him and all the other people who aren't nameless. So we can say what nobody's getting roasted here.
Yeah, no, we're not here to do that. We're not.
Yeah. So, but Jeremy didn't do any of that stuff. So anyway,
nope. It was, and he kept it a good blend of, here's what you're gonna need to learn so that you can do this in a healthy manner and not, destroy your wrists, destroy your hands.
What were the first things that you like? What were the first things he showed you in this way?
Well, actually, the main thing was like how to hold the sticks. So he had me hold them out in front of me like this and make a motion like I'm shaking hands and open up my fingers like that and just flick the sticks back down like that. We did that for like 5-10 minutes every lesson, and then it was a little bit of handwork, right, left, all that stuff.
Was he thumbs up from day one?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And then I got to high school and they were like, why is your thumb on top of the drumstick? Put it on the side. I'm like, no. But yeah, he would teach me, like a rudiment every lesson or something like that. And then we would do drum set stuff the rest of the time. So the first like 15-20 minutes was pad work, hand work, you're warming up. Here's a rudiment, and then it would be, okay, here's how this rudiment can apply around the drum kit, or here's a groove you said you wanted to learn, or here's how you play this song, or this song would be cool to learn, all kinds of different stuff. And it just kept the passion going for me. It really just carried that love of music even further.
Mm-hmm. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Okay, so what were the first songs your first songs that you were playing? Who were your first? Scott Phillips was your first jam?
Yep. I think the first song I ever learned, it was either Rockstar by Nickelback or All Summer Long by Kid Rock. It was one of those two, but I know those were the first two.
Okay.
It wouldn't, not even going to go there.
No, that's fine.
But, those were the first two. I started out with hard rock, my dad's always been into the hair metal scene, stuff from the 80s. So he's like, oh, here's what Metallica is, he showed me Metallica and stuff. And so, I started learning stuff like that, and Alter Bridge, Breaking Benjamin. Jeremy was a member of Breaking Benjamin for a long time. So naturally, I'm learning some of that stuff, which I actually came to love. It's still one of my favorite.
So when I met you, that was your band.
Yep.
That and Creed.
Just all that hard rock stuff is really, I just found it enjoyable. I liked it. I was never big into the pop shit or the rap stuff, whatever. Like,
that would become later because you were into it.
Yep. I mean, nowadays, yes.
But you were at 11.
Yeah.
But not we're talking at 6 years old. You didn't want to have any parts of that, and I get it.
It was just rock. That was it.
Yeah, that's all right. That's where I was.
Yep.
That's where I was when I was 6. Yeah. I wanted to light my guitar on fire and shoot stuff out of it.
Right.
Anyway, so your first bands at this early age, what are your first playing? You started playing with Shea right away, as soon as you could play a beat.
Yep. Yeah, I was 8, and Shea Quinn was hosting open mics every Wednesday at Galifty's at the Underground. And there were a lot of the local cats that are pretty prominent in the local scene today were younger back then and getting their start. Actually, Observe the 93rd started at that place too, at that same open mic. But yeah, it started. I learned Play That Funky Music because that was the only song that I knew that Shea also knew.
Okay.
I go in there, I'm the hard rock kid, I know all Breaking Benjamin and Alter Bridge, whatever. And he's like, I don't know any of that. Here's what I know. And he handed me a song list, and I just started learning them, just tune after tune. And they weren't too bad. And then one night, his drummer was, I don't know, out of town or something like that, couldn't make a gig. He's like, hey, how many of those songs do you know? I was, I don't know. Or I think he's talking to my dad. I didn't even have a phone yet. How many of those tunes does he know? I don't know, enough. All right, he's coming to play a gig tonight.
Okay.
That was how it started.
Okay.
And then he was like, well, I guess screw it. Let's give the kid a shot,
You know, part of the thing is, how old were you then?
8.
Okay, so you're 8 years old.
Like not even a year after I first.
This is a perfect lesson. At 8 years of age, and you're looking at Shea, you had some respect for him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you weren't. So one of the things that keeps you on a gig is not being a jackass.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, being a people person, we work together.
Yep.
We don't bring our drama
right
to the gig. We don't show up drunk. We don't show up wasted.
We don't get drunk at the gig.
We don't get drunk at the gig. We have a job to do.
Yep.
We have a job to do. We take pride in what we do.
Absolutely.
At 8 years old, you were the perfect age before any of the riffraff could happen to you.
Right.
Yeah, that's probably what he liked about you.
Yeah, I feel like that probably
he
was.
He knew you respected him too.
Mm-hmm.
So
and I still do to this day. And you know, the same principle holds true. Like, I'm not here to get wasted. I'm not showing up trying to get the bartender to give me beer or whatever, like trying to have people buy me drinks. Like, no, I'm not here for that. That's, you know, I've been asked that a lot, you know,
picking up ladies,
or you should get people to buy the alcohol, whatever. No, I'm not. I've got a job to do, man. Like, it's not about that.
Take pride in what you do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
There'll be time for lots of stuff, but it's like, when you're playing. So that's probably what set you apart, to be honest with you. Okay, so now, when did you start playing with people your own age?
Oh man, I don't know that I've ever really played with people my own age. I think that, believe it or not, I'm trying to think. I think Scarlet Revolver was about the only band that was even close to my own age, and they were still all in high school when I was in 6th grade.
They're 2 years older than you.
I don't know. Didn't
David Foote and Alex?
That's true.
They're second.
So yeah, that was probably the first band. Yeah, I feel like that was back at the Perfect Fifth in the garage. Yeah. That was the first band that was about my own age.
Yeah. Funny little tidbit of information that I don't know that you know about. I'm not even going to name his name, but there was an early bass player that predated Fiona. Wasn't sure if he wanted to play with you because you were younger.
Huh. I didn't know about that. No.
So I had a word with him. Age doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't.
It doesn't. And that happened more than once.
I'm not. Oh, it's
in my life, because they always question me when I bring you on board, but after the gig is over, then you in other words, you do what you're supposed to do.
Right.
You lay it down.
Yep.
Right, and don't have an attitude, and don't turn your bass amp up too loud. So anyway, that was Scarlet Revolver. Revolver. We learned how to start a band from scratch because Shea never taught me that.
Yep, that was true. Because a lot of what I did with Shea, you know, it's just bar after bar playing covers.
Yeah. But Shea's already had 40 years experience by this time.
Right.
So
right.
You're not getting any of that experience.
Right.
So the Scarlet Revolver is your introduction to let's start a band and let's learn tunes and let's find our sound, because we can play songs we like, but that doesn't necessarily make us sound the best that we can. So we got to find a songs that we like, that we sound good at, because sometimes it just doesn't work.
Right.
Yeah.
And that definitely was that band taught me a lot, more than I actually realized at the time. It didn't really hit me just how much I learned from that band early on until years later.
I will tell you something. Every time a Scarlet Revolver video comes up in my Facebook feed, it's always something really cool.
Yeah.
I'm saying, as an old guy, that, in other words, I had fun with it and I was proud of them, and we were growing and we were trying out new things. Some of the stuff that there's so much that I forgot.
Yeah. Well, actually, just yesterday, I got a memory from, I think it was like 4 years ago, 5 years ago, of us in the alleyway at Metropolis when we did that photo shoot. And my little ass is like climbing around on the fire escape and whatnot. And
Yeah.
it was cool to see. I'm just
Yeah.
like, wow, there's a lot of history with that band.
Yeah.
That was, God,
Everybody in that
7
band,
years, something like that.
everybody in that band. I don't know what Fiona's doing.
Yeah, I haven't seen. Last I saw, she's an author now.
A what?
An author.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
wish her the best. I know
that?
Ryan, the original guitar player, is now a dad.
Really?
Mm-hmm. He's married. He's married, wow. And he's a father. Okay. Raymond moved back to the area.
Yeah, I saw that.
Okay, which I found out about a week ago. And Alex, who's working on a hip hop career.
Yeah, I've been watching some of that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So Alex is working on a hip hop career. David Foote is in Millersville University for music.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Eli's in California for music and theater.
Yeah.
So that
it's pretty cool seeing the like it's definitely had an effect.
You guys started out. You remember David Foote, and we love David Foote, and this is not a diss on David Foote.
Yeah.
The first time David Foote stepped on a stage and had lights on him, he had to step away because he wasn't used to that much. It was a lot of I don't know,
attention. It
was not even that. It was a lot of
just a lot going on at once. I think.
Yeah.
It was a completely new experience.
Yeah.
Like even for me, I had already had experience playing out and whatnot and performing by that point.
Mm-hmm.
But even still, I had never, like you said, gone, hey, let's start a band, man. Like just starting in a garage and sucked. Like that
reserve the right to suck.
Right.
You start there. That's where you start. Yep. Reserve the right to suck, and then we find what our sound is. It's not going to be perfect right out the gate. Right. But that is the process.
Mm-hmm.
That is the process. We don't pay somebody to play the instruments for us.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and we learn as we go, and we work on our craft, and if we can't sing harmony right away, this is the thing that's going to get us to sing harmony.
Right.
And at that time, you couldn't sing at all.
Yeah. And we did that for years too.
Yeah.
We just got in there and like learning new stuff and just sucking at it the first time. And then, each passing week, it got better and better. And, that band really, like I said, it didn't hit me until years later. That's like one of the few bands that I've really just started from nothing, like where we all were just like, yeah, we'll see how this goes. Like this could be fun. This could suck. We'll all hate each other, like whatever, but we'll see what happens, like
nobody hated each other.
Yeah, no, we never got in like big fights or anything stupid like that. There was never any drama. There was no BS. Like we all shared that passion for music, and we all, wanted to get better. And
you're all were open for the experience.
Right. It was definitely it.
I'm showing David Foote, Medeski, Martin, and Wood bass slides, and that's when we revamp it into a song of our own.
Yep. That was what I liked about it too. It kind of led
hip hop and jazz, and we checked out all kinds of things. By the time, as we said, once that ran its course, there's all kinds of stuff what we were doing.
Oh yeah.
Nobody ever heard, because the best stuff, what we did in public, like what we did on Cumberland Valley, wasn't our best stuff.
Right.
Okay, our best stuff was our own.
Yep.
And our own explorations. And then there was Eli.
Yep, absolutely.
Eli. So after the Perfect Fifth, and you're studying with Jeremy the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing all kinds of stuff. You play with AJ.
Yep.
So okay, when did you first like funk?
Oh man, I
think your dad said
we started. It was. I think it was when I started working with AJ. I think he was 13.
Your dad said earlier than that. Wanted to play funk, and he said, "No, Logan, you're white."
Yeah. Yep.
And it's like, I think before you met me.
What really started it was hearing, I forget what band. Oh, you know what? We went to see Jeremy's band, Into the Spin. Okay. And they're a fantastic band. They got a horn section and stuff, and they're doing a bunch of funk stuff, similar to the Set to the Groove Jones stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that night I was like, Dad, like I want to do that. Like, I want to be able to do that. Like that right there, just seeing everybody dancing and everybody's enjoying it. There's nobody sitting still. It's not going like this.
It's like church.
Right.
The right kind of church.
Yeah, it was badass. And I was just, absolutely entranced by, the sound coming out of that band. I'd never seen anything like it before. And from that day forward, I was like, yeah, I want to do that. But I was playing classic rock with Shea, and then the one day AJ, I forget how exactly we got connected with AJ. But he was like 13, still just like hardcore BB King blues. I only want to play blues stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he came over and we jammed the one day. And
what was the first jam like? Was it blues?
Yeah, it was all blues stuff. We played, what was it? He had a bunch of original stuff then too that was kind of like blues, R&B type of stuff as well. We played Black Magic Woman was one of the tunes. Little Wing, just all that kind of stuff.
Did he sing with the little AJ voice?
Yep.
There's probably, back in the day.
There's probably videos of it somewhere out there. I'm sure
they gotta be shared.
Oh yeah, we'll dig them up. He'll love to see that.
Yeah. I like the one of him playing Crazy Train in the hallway.
Yeah, that was a good one.
The dog comes in.
Yep.
So that what was his band?
Rhythm on Main.
Rhythm on Main. That was the first. That was the first funk band you played with.
Yep. Yeah, it wasn't even like just straight ahead funk. There was some funk stuff. He started to branch into R&B and soul type stuff more later on.
Oh, and he loved hip hop even back then.
He discovered hip hop and decided to go to Casa, and it completely changed the sound of the band. And it was great. It taught me a lot of. That was another one that was a real teaching moment for me, because we were playing a bunch of stuff I'd never played before. These were all tunes that were brand new to me, styles of music that were brand new to me that I had never delved into.
And you jumped right in there. You didn't.
Yep. I was like, you know what? I want to learn how to do it. I want to figure it out. It sounds cool. It's, I like playing with these guys. They're nice guys, and it's cool music. It's fun to play. And, look what happened. Like I still actually play with James regularly. James is phenomenal.
I spent the day with him today.
Once in a while. What's that?
I spent the day with him today.
Oh yeah.
Recording. Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
Yeah.
But yeah, it really taught me a lot as far as, there's more out there than rock and blues, like it definitely opened my eyes to even how hip hop can be incorporated with a live band and how you can do a lot with hip hop stuff with a live band. Definitely, that's something I never would have considered before then.
So how did your bass drum, did it improve with hip hop?
Yeah, a little bit. It definitely that's really what taught me to watch the bass player and to listen to the bass player and listen to what he's doing and follow him all the time. Like whatever the bass player's doing, kick drum's doing it.
Yeah.
Especially true with hip hop. So that really I feel like that band was more responsible for why I am the way I am today. As if you watch me on stage, you can attest to this. I'm always watching the bass player's hands. Whatever the bass player's doing, I'm watching. I'm glancing around at everybody else, but bass player's fingers are what I'm watching. And that's what I'm listening to. I've always been attracted to the bass, it's just the lower tones and stuff like that. That's what you hear. That's the first thing you hear, the bass. The bass is what people are bopping to. You're not bopping to the guitar. You're not bopping to the lyrics. You're bopping to the bass and the drums.
Yeah.
So, that bass and drum connection is very important. And, another case like Scarlet Revolver, I didn't realize how much that was teaching me till years later. And I was just kind of thinking that like, wow, that band really taught me to listen to the bass player, because we were playing a lot of bass driven music. We're doing Sublime stuff. We're doing, oh God, what else did we do? There was so much random stuff, like just, and like even, AJ would change up these classic tunes, like these blues tunes, and make them into some funk hip hop type stuff. And
BB King.
Right. And we were
reworking BB King.
Yeah, and we just jam stuff out, and it really
he's kind of like a song catcher.
Right. And
Tim Sherman, I remember he Lovers Leap.
Yep.
That was obscure reggae guy.
Yeah.
Nobody else has heard of, and it's like AJ is a song catcher.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's more than he knows, because I don't know if he still considers himself a hip hop artist or not. He's just an artist.
Yeah.
Hip hop is one of his ingredients.
Yep. Everything he does phenomenally.
Huh?
Everything AJ does, he does.
Yeah, but it's the mixture of everything. It's the mixture. He's not just hip hop.
Yeah, you can definitely hear all of his influences in everything he does, and it's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
There's not too many artists out there that really stick true to their roots, like that actually stick true to their roots. They might say they do, but they don't. Yeah. You can't hear it in their playing, but he's one of the few that you can definitely, like, you listen to him play and you're like, yep, could definitely tell he's blues based.
Yeah.
And that hip hop's a big thing for him, but that's not all he does. He can do anything,
Yeah. He's not a one trick pony.
Exactly.
So down the road, you start going further out, and you meet Gabe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, tell us about that whole experience. How did that get started?
So that all got started. I decided jazz kind of started to be something I was a little bit interested in. For a long time I was always, I'm never going to be a jazz drummer. Jazz is boring. It's too quiet. It's too boring. It's people.
To set the record straight, you're not playing jazz.
Yeah. Well, not most of the time. I do sometimes.
Okay, yeah.
We actually met. I wanted to start learning jazz, so I went to the jazz camp run by the Central Pennsylvania Friends of Jazz at Messiah College. And I did that for a few years, and about 5 years, I think. My God. And he was there every year, and I never really talked to him or anything. He was just always like, oh my God, look at that ripping bass kid. He's like this big, and he's like playing these Jocko licks. What? I didn't even know who the hell Jocko was, but everybody was going, yo, look at him do Jocko. I'm like, cool. Like, I don't know, he's fast. Like, And then a couple years later, the one year I met Connor, because we had been in the same combo band for year after year, and we were finally like, hey, what's up? And
back when Connor was an oboe player.
Yep. So we started jamming together, actually with a guy named Ali Darwish for a while.
I remember Ali.
Yeah, he was a cool guy. Good player too. But yeah, we jammed with him a lot, and then apparently Gabe reached out to Connor and was like, hey, I want to start a group. Do you know any drummers? And Connor was like, actually, yeah. And they hit me up and they were like, hey, let's just get together. Here's some tunes we'll go over. And like the stuff that they were sending me, like all kinds of weather report stuff, Don Grolnick, Brecker Brothers. Like I was like, what is this? Like it was unlike anything I'd ever heard before.
Electric fusion-y.
Yeah, I was still like fairly new to jazz, believe it or not. It was something I knew a little bit about, but it was never anything I had completely taken all that seriously, because I just couldn't find anybody that was interested in playing with me, that. And I don't know, I never delved all that deeply into it just because it wasn't something I felt like I needed to learn at the moment.
You were at 13 at the time?
Yeah, something like that. And it never came up on my list of priorities, just like speed metal never, still to this day hasn't.
Can you do double bass?
Yeah, I can. I own a double pedal and I use it from time to time, but you're not going to see me doing any like 5-finger death punch or Slipknot stuff. Like,
you're not going to sound like Machine Gun?
Yeah, no, I can't do any of that. I can't. I've always prided myself on being able to do more than enough with one foot, and not having to bring a double pedal to a gig. I don't know that I ever have, other than maybe twice over the years. But yeah, they reached out, sent me all this stuff, and I was like learning these tunes. I'm like, all right, this is pretty cool. And we got together, and I'm doing my thing, watching the bass player, and we just locked. And I was like, man, like that's it right there. This is, and it went really well. Like, I mean, we had never played together. We were, Connor was kind of new to playing with the band, period. From what I've heard, he didn't really gig much before Teen Town, other than in high school and with
high school band. where he was playing
he had a band that he threw together with some buddies of his from Redland, and they did some stuff, but I don't think they really started gigging until they were all in high school.
Kind of a rock band, right?
Yeah, it was a little bit of everything. You know, they had some Jimi Hendrix stuff in there. There was Stevie stuff, but then they'd also go up there and play like Higher Ground or, you know, some like just everything. They didn't stick to one thing, and it was actually really cool.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the way to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
The mixture
over there. But yeah, they just, you know, we started jamming together after hearing about each other through this camp, and it was, you know, we were like, all right, I guess this could go somewhere. So let's just try to get together more regularly. And then we booked our first gig. I don't even remember. Oh, it was a high school band festival at a school and state college. You know, we got together with that, and it went pretty well, you know. But yeah, and the rest is history. You know, we just like after that show, we were like,
you set goals. Put a date in the calendar, and now we have to work so we don't embarrass ourselves.
Right. That's exactly what it was. It was kind of a kick in the pants a little bit to just be like, all right, have your shit together by like this date. And it came together pretty well, you know, and it's I'm loving it still to this day.
That's wonderful.
You know, we've got a bunch of stuff lined up for this summer yet. Just recorded our own original album, all written by Gabe and Connor, which should be coming out the end of the summer, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, that should be pretty
cool. Do you ever think about songwriting?
I have thought about it. Quite honestly, for me right now, it's just a matter of time. You know, I between the gigs that I'm playing at night and the day job that I'm working all the time, you know, I just
what you need is more nighttime gigs so you don't have to do the daytime gigs, so you can spend time on your musicianship during the day.
That is true.
Working on songwriting.
That is true.
It's taking up a keyboard or acoustic guitar or something.
I would love to, absolutely, but
I know a good teacher.
Most places don't want to pay musicians $200 a guy, so
yeah,
you know, it's hard to make a legit living.
It's not true. It's not true. Excuses. Anyway. All right. So Groove Jones. First time you played with Groove Jones was when?
Oh, I was 12 at the market in front of Soul Burrito.
That wasn't the first.
That wasn't the first?
That was the first time you did the whole gig.
Oh, when was the first time?
You played that place in Harrisburg and you showed up.
I'm trying to think. I don't even remember that one.
Wing place. Best wings in Harrisburg.
Oh, I know what place you're talking about. Oh, Ted's. They
are the best wings in Harrisburg.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, she defriended me, but whatever.
Yeah, there was a lot of drama at that place.
Maybe that's why.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows?
She did me a favor.
But... Yeah. Oh my God, Groove Jones though, man, that band was something else. I missed those days.
So tell me about Groove Jones. From your perspective.
From my perspective, just the most absolute badass, tight funk band I had ever seen. You know, like from the first time I saw you guys play at Ted's, you know, I had only kind of knew you through the Perfect Fifth. You know, I'd met you. We'd been getting together pretty regularly, and then you were like, "Hey, I'm playing in Harrisburg now," and I was like, "Yeah, I'll go see Rod's band." And then AJ happened to be there. And I saw him get up. Too. Yeah, and I saw him get up, and I'm like, oh man, I should learn some of these songs for next time. And you were like, nah, get up here now. And that was what happened. And
well, I know what I show you.
Yeah.
I know what you know.
I was like, there's no way, man.
You're ready.
I'm not.
Because they rush.
These guys, are you kidding me? And you were like, come on, get up here, relax. And
this ain't rush.
God, yeah, right. That was just a phenomenal band, you know, like it again, another learning experience for me because we never rehearsed ever, not once. I never saw you guys rehearsing, you know, even the short period of time
last time we rehearsed with Dwayne Dickey. The last time we played New Year's Eve.
Oh, really?
At the Square.
Oh, when we were with 2 drummers and like a 20-piece band on the back of that trailer. You remember that gig?
No, that was Boompop. That was the first Boompop. That was the first Boompop gig.
Oh, okay. Well, that was
Dwayne Dickey though.
Oh, okay.
That was Dwayne Dickey. So Dwayne Dickey was.
Well, he used to come to those jam sessions at Ted's too.
Okay, so he wasn't sure what to think. He had Dwayne Dickey on drums, you on drums, and Lewis on percussion.
Mm-hmm. That was chaos. It worked, but it was chaos.
Yeah, it was chaos, but that was that's how you learn.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Jump in and experiment. Got to be fearless.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And I didn't want to just do covers all the time.
Right.
I wanted to be spontaneous, and I liked it when it was. That's the jazz element for me.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So but last time we rehearsed, 2011, 2012.
No kidding.
Yeah. So it was that's not. I'm not suggesting that. I would have liked to have put a goal here and let's shoot for something.
Right. But at the same time,
leadership, Groove Jones's leadership was horrible.
Yeah, but at the same time, I feel like part of what made that band great was the fact that y'all just showed up and did what you did.
Yeah.
It was.
But I would have liked to do more of the original stuff without people blowing the chord changes.
Yeah.
So,
but it Groove Jones was another learning experience for me, and it's all teaches me something different. That band, I got in there, I'm like, all right, I guess we're not practicing for these shows. Like, I'm just gonna show up and do this. The first time you asked me, and I had seen the band 4 times at that point, so I knew some of the songs from that. You sent me a list of other ones, and you're like, all right, now these ones we don't stop in between, and these ones we don't even do the whole song. It's a mashup, so it's like 30 minutes straight of just music, and we do about 2 minutes of every song.
Yeah, and you had these little twigs as arms.
Yep. So I'm like there.
The first gig that we had with you was at.
That was in front of Robberitos.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Robberito van.
Yep. And that was, I remember I was beating the piss out of the drums, trying my damnedest to play loud enough to be over the bass.
Yeah.
He kept.
Who's playing bass?
Oh, it was Clarence, I think. I remember Terrell kept turning around and going, man, hit harder. And I'm like, I'm hitting as hard as I can.
Yeah.
But that was a good gig though. That, it just the spontaneity.
Was that Clarence or was that Mike?
I think that was Clarence.
Okay.
I didn't meet Mike until a later gig at Ted's that was after that.
Okay.
It might have been Mike. I don't know. It was Clarence.
Okay.
But yeah, that just really taught me that if you just follow what your band's doing, they'll guide you through anything, man. Like,
how important is it to lay down? Okay, so people are sick of me talking about Pocket. You were sick of me talking about Pocket.
Yeah, I got damn sick of you talking about Pocket, and then once again, years later, it hit me. I'm like, okay, I guess this is
old dumb Rod's not so dumb.
Yeah, right.
So,
sorry, what were you saying about it?
So the importance of Pocket and all these things that you're learning. Okay, certainly it's great to learn the agility and all that kind of business.
Oh yeah.
Like one of the things we did together was we played YYZ on stage.
Mm-hmm.
You're the only person I have ever played YYZ on stage with. For what it's worth. I don't know what that means, but anyway,
whatever.
there's a slap bass solo in the middle of it.
I remember that.
And it's like I made it, whatever. Okay, so anyway, but the agility you get from that's great and wonderful. Yes. Right. But when you're playing with all these people, the importance of space, and you're learning about Pocket, and you're learning about groove, and how different styles of music have different languages.
Right.
So so all this stuff explain some of your experiences with that in what you're doing right now that isn't necessarily fusion.
Well, when I was younger and first learning, I started finally getting strong enough and, developing my technique enough to where I could play faster stuff. And, I was like, oh yeah, as many notes as possible in every measure. Let's do as many 16th note fills.
Well, that's what you do when you're 13.
Yeah, absolutely. And everybody's guilty of it. Guitar players did the same when they were first.
The Dweedlies.
Right. And, it just kind of dawned on me. I'm seeing more and more of these big time pros just holding down the most solid groove. Like, it sounds like there's a metronome in their ear and there isn't, and I'm just like, okay, I see it now. Now I know what Rod's talking about when he says, hold that pocket down, quit messing around.
Yeah.
And, it's over the years, the importance of pocket has really, it's gotten more ingrained into everything I do. You can watch videos back from 5 years ago and to now. My playing is simplified now. Like I'm not doing all these bashful, obnoxious fills all the time, and it really didn't hit me. I didn't listen as intently when I was younger. Like I listened to a lot of music. I've always have, but I didn't listen very deeply. I didn't have a great understanding of what made those, all the greats great. Until, I got a little older and started finally realizing, part of what makes these songs great is the fact that there's room for everybody to have their moment. All these great bands over the years, there's not everybody just doing wild and crazy shit all the time.
Very rarely is that happening.
Right. Unless you're playing fusion.
but in normal rock, I can think of Cream when they played Crossroads, everybody was soloing. The drummer was soloing, the bass player was soloing.
But even still, there was a time when they all just locked down and held it solid and kept the, the guitars playing the melody, and the bass is grooving, and the Ginger's just grooving hard back there. Like, it didn't really hit me the importance of that until I think I watched a video back of some stuff that I was doing. I think it was with Groove Jones or I saw a video of something I was doing, and then I saw another drummer do some wild, crazy stuff that didn't really fit the groove. And I was just like, it really hit me just how much that stuff throws it off sometimes, especially when it's not tasteful. And, you can tell when a drummer isn't listening to what the rest of the band is doing. You can tell. It's very easy to tell because they might be in time, but the pocket's not there. There's a difference between being in time and being in the pocket. And playing all those fills and wild and crazy stuff throws you out of the pocket. Like, I don't care who you are, you play a fill, you're gonna waver a little bit if you're not playing with a metronome, and even then you still can. It always is something that happens. It still happens to me to this day, and I've seen it with various other people. It doesn't make it bad, but you just got to be tasteful about the way you play your fills, where you put them, how many of them you play. Like, their fills are more made to be like with big band. A fill sets up the next figure for the horn section. It's the same thing with a trio. There's a lot of tunes out there where there's 3 people up there on stage and the drummer does some little fill. Doesn't even have to be crazy and complicated, but it lets everybody else know, all right, we're going into the chorus now. All right, here's the bridge, here's the next chorus, here's the verse out. Like, it's a lot of listening. Yeah, it definitely is.
And it's like a lot of and maturing.
Yep. And
the first thing you want to do when you get an instrument is to play every note you know.
Yep. As fast as you can.
Yeah. So, but then you learn that the notes that work are probably the ones I should be focusing on.
Right.
And certainly we all stray a little bit and say, but
absolutely.
But
you gotta have fun sometimes,
So what about Boompop?
Let's talk about. Oh man, that band is just, it's always
that's complete jazz.
Yeah, you could call it that. Yeah.
For the reason we rehearse even less than Groove Jones.
Mm-hmm.
A rehearsal never happened.
Right. Right. And
Groove
not
Jones
once.
had rehearsals in the early stages.
Right. Not once were we together when there wasn't an audience.
Yes.
And like that was what really was cool about that band. Because we never ever had a set list either. Okay, maybe 3 times ever that you've actually gone, here's a piece of paper with all the tunes on it. Like, it's, you hand me a set list, I'm like, what, are you okay? Like, is this a Boompop gig?
Wait,
like,
the set list, it wasn't even a set list. It was like, okay, this one's going to be a rock groove.
Yep. Yeah, they weren't even like completely.
This is going to be like a bluesy shuffle.
Here's the lick I'm going to start out playing, and here's what's
not even that. I don't know what I'm playing until I start the song.
Yeah,
but that's.
I mean, there were a few tunes that we actually like somewhat did a cover of, but it was pretty much a verse and a chorus, and then just jam.
Yeah.
And I loved it. It's great. I
remember when AJ was with us and we did that. Don't kill my vibe. Don't kill my vibe.
Yep.
So
yeah, it was awesome though. We never had to worry about, like, I think rehearsals cause drama in some sense. You get in a room and you realize, oh, okay, he's playing that wrong. I know he's playing that wrong. I'm gonna tell him he's playing it wrom. And then how dare you tell me how to play my part?
The gigs can happen that way too.
Right. It keeps the spontaneous, just let's just throw some shit down and see what happens. Really, I don't know. It's something different, and there's a lot to be said for that, because not everybody can do that. It's not easy to just get on stage with a bunch of cats, especially when it's different people just about every time. We never stuck with the same lineup other than you, me, and Cal, really.
Yeah. Even Cal wasn't at the first gig.
Right. Well, I remember that. Yeah.
Cal was. It isn't Boompop now. Now that we have Cal,
first meeting
Boompop without him. We can't do a gig without him.
Yep. I remember first meeting Cal. Oh my God, we were at Naylor Winery and we're just jamming, and this dude comes running out from the back in his socks, just gets up on stage and starts rolling around on the floor, and just the most badass performer
My mom was there.
I'd ever seen.
My mom was there that day. That was
oh yeah,
yeah.
That was
the first day she met Cal.
That was the first day I met him
barefoot,
too. Though. He might have been. I don't remember. Yeah. Either way, I know he wasn't wearing shoes, and I was just like, "Who the hell is this guy? Like, what is going on right now?"
Yeah.
And oh my God, it was great.
Yeah. But we had like the rhythm on main. We had the rhythm on main and the like section. I probably was on bass.
Yeah, I think so. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, when I met you, you were a bass player in my head. You were a bass player in my head for years.
Some people still think of me as only a bass player. I've been playing guitar for 43 years, which is all right.
Yeah,
I'm just happy to be remembered, to be honest with you.
Right, man.
If something I played brought a smile to your face, and I'm all right.
Good enough. Yep.
So what is your future looking like? What do you have going on in the future?
Well, for me, I'm long term. It's really anybody's guess. I'm not. I as much as I love playing music, and as much as I would love to make a career out of it, I don't want it to be my only option.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going down the trade route. I'm gonna go to diesel school next year to be a diesel mechanic. It's just a 1-year program. It's a day job because I don't want to have to worry about playing gigs to feed myself 30, 40 years from now. I don't want to burn out.
Mm-hmm.
If I have to worry about doing it for a living, I feel like it'll take the fun out of it for me a little bit.
Okay.
But at the same time, I'm still chasing it just as hard as ever. We played in Indiana at a amazing festival out there in Elkhart, Indiana with Teen Town last couple weeks ago. That was phenomenal. We've got a bunch of gigs coming up yet this summer, a couple more festivals. We're playing up at Berks Jazz Fest in Reading.
You know what's funny about this whole thing, though?
What's that?
You could go on tour, and everything that you plan can be just completely evaporate.
Oh yeah.
and you can tour the world.
Yep.
And I hope that happens to you.
I really do too. And if it happens, then I'm not
I think if anybody, and I think you could find a way of mixing music and not making it a chore.
Absolutely.
I think is this, and I don't say this to everybody, but you're put on this earth to do something.
Mm-hmm.
And I think more so, and I don't, Diesel can't go away, go for it. But you're put on this earth to do what you're doing.
Right.
And it's like when the whole COVID thing went down, it broke my heart because you thought the world was coming to an end. Because everything you knew, all your gigs were dropping off.
Right.
And it's like
that was part of what made me, kind of pursue what I'm doing, the day job thing.
Yeah, but what I'm
like, again, I'm screwed. Like
it happened last time in 1919.
Right.
Okay, and yeah. So, but my hope for you, and not that my hope for you is this is what you're put on this earth to do in part. Mm-hmm. In part.
Yep.
And I wish you great things and greatness and come over and play drums with me.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Show me stuff.
Now you got 2 kits now. We can do that.
Right. Drum Journey. Yep. For those who don't know, Logan's my drumming advisor, one of them. Okay. So we get together. We will play together. We didn't talk about the Rod Gals project. That's kind of boom popish without Gal.
Yeah, we haven't.
We'll do some stuff with that. We will do some stuff with that. We got more. We got more to say before you start touring the world.
Oh yeah.
Don't forget about me.
Oh, never. Couldn't if I tried.
Yes. We call that a nightmare. But thank you, Logan.
Thank you. It was a pleasure being on.
And we may have a part 2 somewhere down the road.
All right. Yeah, okay. Absolutely.
And
I'd love to.
All right. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye.